ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते। The first sentence, it is in a prose form. Sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikarinam moksha sadhana bhutam tattva viveka prakaram vakshamaha. Vakshamaha means we shall talk, we shall reveal, we shall teach. Teacher talks himself in plural. It is in a sense of identifying with the tradition, in a sense disowning that what I am going to teach is not something my own creation, that I am going to teach is being taught to me by my teacher, and my teacher learned from his teacher. So on behalf of the whole tradition, I am going to reveal. What is going to be taught? The subject matter he repeats again. Tattva Viveka Prakaram. Tattva Viveka Prakaram means method of discriminative inquiry. Prakaram means a method. Viveka means discriminative method. And inquiry of the truth. Now, why it is discriminative inquiry, we should know. First of all, discrimination is required when there are two things which are mixed up. If they are not mixed up, you don't need discrimination. Like traditional example they give, japa kusuma and a crystal, a red flower placed beside the crystal. The crystal appears to be red. That means there are as though two things are mixed up, the redness of the flower and the shape of the crystal. When these two things are mixed up, so you require discrimination. Similarly, the self is also mixed up. Crystal is colorless. So also self is formless. Any attributeless. Colorless meaning thereby it has no attributes whatsoever. In spite of that, self is as though felt, as though experienced, is taken to be with attributes. When the self is taken to be with the attributes, that means even though the self is free from attributes, that means there is some mix-up. The self is free from physio-psycho complex, body-mind complex. It is independent. Sakshi Cheta. but somehow it is taken as physio-psycho-complex. That mix-up is there, and therefore you need discrimination. Now, the question comes, how come there is a mix-up, first of all? Well, how come one is taken to be other? And secondly, is only discrimination is enough? Please understand, you require a discriminative inquiry. The translation of the word TattvaBodha2018. Prakaram means methodology, Viveka means discrimination, and that Tattva means of the truth. Method of discrimination of truth. But here you have to add a word, method of discriminative inquiry of the truth. Then the question comes, why you need to do this way? Because first of all, we should know when one is taken to be other, when one is taken to be what it is not, there is first possibility, first thing we should know is that what is taken as other is known. Like the rope is taken to be snake only when you see something like. So also here, self is known as well as unknown. Being a self-evident, self-revealing consciousness, I being what I am, that is my nature, that I reveal myself. When I say I reveal myself, in a sense, to reveal the sun for me, you need eyes. To reveal this voice from is coming to you, you need ears. But to reveal my existence to myself, I don't need anything. I know that I am. With the ears or without the ears, with the eyes or without the eyes, the self is, I am, is known part. Half of them is not known. What is not known? That which I am, self-existing, self-revealing, what is its nature? That part is unknown. Half of the part is unknown. And here, inquiry is necessary because that unknownness of the self is not like not knowing some software or not knowing the language, computer software language. I don't know. They say Java and this and that. You just don't know anything about it. Here, it is misunderstood. Not only not known, but then it is taken something absolutely other than what it is. Just opposite to its true nature. Something which is not. So that self is taken as parichinna. Self means, remember, I am talking about I. I am taken as limited. I is taken as dukhi. I is taken as karta, bhokta. I is taken as samsari, jiva, etc., etc. All this misconception about the self exist. In other words, I am taken as a becoming person. Listen this word. As of now, I am a becoming person. I have to become something, and I have become something. That is my self-identity. That is my self-awareness. I have become this. I am an engineer or a doctor or software person or whatever, pharmacologist, whatever. I have become this. Oh, I am husband of this or wife of this or mother or father or I am CEO, etc., etc. That becoming person. And as I said in the introduction, there is always a picture of some I that you have to become that. That self is a becoming self. And the reality is, it is a being self. It is that soul. That is the nature. Now, this mistake, you can say, for a want of better word, you can say this is viparita bhava. opposite something taken to be, then what it is universal and it is natural. That is why, since this mistake is universal, that is why our Shastras are Sanatana. And it is natural. From beginningless of time, this mistake is there. Even now it is there. In future it will be there. Therefore, this wisdom is applicable to one and all, irrespective of religion, nationality, age, or whatever. What kind of this error or mistake is? You may say, this is like this taking the sun to be rising in the east. The humanity, for so many millennia, took it that the sun rises in the east, that the earth is flat. This is uniformity in committing the mistake, which was there, and here also. So this knowledge that sun doesn't rise in the east, that the earth is not flat, is universally applicable. It is natural to take sun to be rising. It is natural to take earth to be flat. It is natural to take the sky to be blue. They say, what is natural? That by natural means by birth. We call it in Sanskrit as sahajam. Janmana sahajatam. Since it is sahajam, it is the wisdom that the sun doesn't rise in east is to be applicable or needed to one and all, irrespective of religion, irrespective of caste, creed, age, nationality, whatever. So also this mistake of taking myself to be karta, bhokta, dukhi, limited, samsari, ityadi, this is universal sahajam. Agnanam sahajam. Sahajam agnanam. And this mistake, as I said, it is uniformly committed. Even the example of committing mistakes of sun is also a very simple example. That I commit mistake is not that simple as committing mistake of taking the sun to be rising. It is so complex. It is like typical Indian traffic jam, especially on highway. When there is a jam, everybody is on the wrong side. The pull, like a railway crossing, you might have seen when the railway crossing opens up, other people take a wrong side and they get it. It's so difficult. You can't move one or two. Similarly, there is a mistake of body and there is another mistake. It's a confounded confusion. Our typical Guju example is ઉત્તરાયણની ગૂંચ જેવું છે. પતંગ દોરાની ગૂંચ લાગી જાય ને એમાં એક ખેંચો તો વધુ ટાઈટ થાય. So this mistake is there and it is confounded mistake. And so resolving this confusion, confounded confusion, requires inquiry into what it is and what it is not. Therefore, there is a discriminative inquiry. Am I this or what am I? Technically, we will see discriminative inquiry is Atma Anatma Viveka. Okay, that will come in the later part. So that is what is Tattva Viveka Prakaram Vakshama. Teacher is going to reveal the methodology or the process of discriminative inquiry for the truth, tattva, to discover the truth. And as I said, we have to, like it is not a physical separation, discrimination. It is a cognitive discrimination. Exactly like when we see the crystal red, there is a cognitive discrimination that The redness belongs to the flower which is besides, and crystal is colorless. Now, why is he going to say this? Then he says, Moksha sadhana bhutam. Okay? Moksha sadhana bhutam. That which is a means for moksha. Then you have to add a word, that which is a direct means for moksha. Earlier, it was said in the Mangalacharan Shloka, Mumukshunam hitartha. For the hitam of the mumukshus, I mean the one who wants moksha, one who wants the end, one who wants the ultimate end, which we are seeking. For them, this is being written. And then what they want moksha. So this is a direct means of moksha. Okay? Why I say direct? I did touch upon this point while introducing in the beginning. Vedanto nama Upanishad Pramanam. Why somebody may question, I want moksha. And there is always achievement orientation. I have to gain something. I have to achieve something. Are you able to hear? Okay. I have to gain something. I have to achieve something. So one may say, I'm not interested in discriminative inquiry. I want moksha. So the answer is, this inquiry or discriminative inquiry itself is moksha. Knowledge itself is moksha. Okay? Because self that is known is a confused self that is known. And here we need to know a little bit, so some of you might have learned this, the difference between karma and knowledge. Karma and jnana. They say karma is kartru tantram. Tantra means it depends upon the karta. I want to eat, I have a choice to eat or not to eat this way or that way, etc., etc. Whereas knowledge is vastu tantra, means depends upon the vastu, means knowledge is always true to the object. I have choice in doing or not doing. I have no choice in knowing the object otherwise. I have to know it as it is. Suppose I show you this thing, object in my hand. It is there in my hand. And suppose I ask you, what is the color of this pen, highlighter pen? Then someone may say, or someone may be a person, you may imagine a person who doesn't like green color, just doesn't like. Maybe for other religious reason also. And someone like just the green color. Suppose I saw you two pens. There is one white, yellow, and green. And this fellow wishes, because of religious compulsion, that all should be green, and someone wishes that I don't want to see it green. Now, the person has no choice but to know it as green. Okay? And person has no choice but to know this as yellow. One who doesn't like has to see it as a green, and one who likes to have two greens also has to see it as a yellow only. Knowledge is true to the object. Your choice, your likes and dislikes, wishes or fancies have no say over it. One thing. Second thing about the knowledge is, as I said, it depends on the vastu. You have no choice. With this, no choice is twofold. First, I mentioned this, that you have no choice but to know as it is. One thing. Actually, the first should be, you have no choice not to know. You have to know it. If the eyes are open, And when I am showing you the pen, the object of knowledge is in front of you and eyes are open. You have no choice but to know, and no choice but to know as it is. The state of being choiceless, me being choiceless with reference to knowledge, is twofold. When the means of knowledge is operated upon or is active, and the object to be known is within the realm or within the capacities of the means of knowledge, you have no choice to know and know it as it is. Now here, when I say Vedanto Nama Upanishad Pramanam, Upanishad is Pramanam, Shastra is Pramanam. To know the self, no other means can work. Perception, inference, and perception-based, all other means don't work, because for a simple reason, all these means of knowledge are used by me. I operate them. I am the subject when I open the eyes. That is the self. Now, the subject cannot be the object simultaneously. Eyes cannot see the self because I am the one who operates the eyes, the means of knowledge. So none of the means of knowledge, perception, five senses, and the perceptions based other four means of knowledge, inference, etc., cannot reveal the self. The why and how we will see in some other context. But at the moment, we need to know one thing, why there is a word sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari. I am now discussing that. When I took this discussion about the means of knowledge, I am talking to unfold the need for this word and the meaning of this word. When I say Vedanta is a means, and just now as I explained, when the means of knowledge is operated upon, knowledge is immediate. You have no choice. Immediate. That is why unknowingly you pick up some smell when you pass by somewhere, or in a party, or some good person, some person going to a party passes by, you pick up some good fragrance or some bad smell. What foul smell? You just pick it up. It is so immediate. Okay, while that is why you are able to drive, because you know something is coming and immediately take action. So when you say Vedanta is a pramanam, Mumukshu is a one who wants moksha, so he or she is committed to Vedanta, and he or she studies Vedanta or learns, let us assume at the moment, not get into that. He is learning Vedanta. That means the knower is there, the means of knowledge is being operated, and the known self is there. Correct? That means knowledge must take place. It should be, and that too immediately. While listening only, I should know. Then how come, and not only while listening I should know the self as Purnaha, Satchidanandaha, self as Advayaha, self as non-separate from Ishvara. Sorry. Non-separate from Ishvara, all that is to be done. That kind of knowledge must take place. Now the question comes, how come that sometimes knowledge doesn't take place? In spite of listening, I don't see, or I don't own up myself as Purnaha. I don't own up myself as Anandaha. How come? One point. And secondly, as I said, knowledge should be true to the object of knowledge. You have no choice but to know. And you have to no choice to know as it is, as the object is. How come some people don't know? Even Shankaracharya mentioned somewhere, some people know very little of it. Some just doesn't know anything about it. And some don't know something otherwise about it. Some misunderstandings takes place. How come? There is a famous example, a story in Upanishad. Our king, Deva, the king of Devas, Indra and Virochana, both went to Brahmaji. Brahmaji taught them, and Virochana understood Deha Eva Atma. Yavat, therefore he came up with the darshanam, Yavat Jivet, Sukham Jivet, Runam Krutva, Ghrutam Pipet. Now that he is gone, you have to add everything. Runam Krutva, Mercedesam purchaseth. Runam Krutva, housam purchaseth. Runam Krutva, vacationam gachet. Everything he misunderstood, just the opposite than what teacher taught. That means there are three possibilities. First possibility is either Shastra is not Pramanam. You claim that Shastra is a Pramanam, but it is not, because some people don't get it in spite of studying Upanishad. Or the self is not Purna as it is told. Shastra is Pramanam, but teaching may be wrong. Like by mistake, suppose while talking and giving the example, I pick up this pen and just tell you, look at this green pen. That means what? What I said is wrong. The object is not green yellow. So also, either Atma is not Purna, but Shruti by mistake tells me that it is Purna, or Shruti is not Pramanam. In spite of operating the Shastra Pramanam, I don't see gaining the knowledge. Then, and if I say both are wrong, that Shastra is not Pramanam is wrong, and that the self is not Purnaha, Akarta, Bhokta also is wrong. Not is wrong. That means self is Purnaha, self is Akarta, Bhokta, and to know that self, Shastra is Pramanam. And this argument that some of them misunderstood it and some of them could not understand, they did not gain the knowledge. Therefore, it is not Pramanam, or it is not what it is talked about. That is not true. Because, see, this all other acharyas, Ramanuja, Vallabha, Nimbarka, etc., they all accept Veda as a Pramanam. In fact, traditionally, to qualify oneself to be called as Acharya, that means you should be able to teach and comment on Prasthanatrayi. Means Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and Brahma Sutra. So the Acharyas have written commentaries on Brahma Sutras and Gitas and Gita and Upanishad. And still they claim that self is not pure. They claim self is not non-dual. It is not one with the Ishvara. They say Amshamsi Bhava and etc. All kinds of darshanas are there. They have accepted the pramanatvam of the Shastra, but then the nature of the self revealed by them is not what we are talking. So there is a second possibility that Shastra is a pramanam, but self is not what you are talking. And some people did not gain the knowledge. Therefore, there is like Virochana, etc. Therefore, Shastra is not pramanam. To both of them, answer is, there are many who got the knowledge. Fact that we have an unbroken tradition of teaching and learning shows that so many acharyas studied Upanishad and gained the self-knowledge. That means Shastra is Pramanam. And secondly, that self is Apurna, self is Dukhi, that self is Amsha of the Ishvara. It is not as what you talk. Answer is, those Acharyas have confirmed that I am non-dual, Advaitam, Purnaha, Akarta, Abhokta. There is no Amshaha, Amshi, etc. So both the possibilities are wrong. Now then what is the problem? How come some do not understand? And how come misunderstand it? The answer is, there is a third possibility. Okay? What is a third possibility? Listen this. That is where the word sadhana chatushtaya adhikarinam moksha sadhana bhutam. See, what is the third possibility? Any knowledge takes place in antahkaranam, in the mind. It is a seat of knowing. And for any knowledge, the mind has to be ready. Mind has to be relatively prepared. Mind has to be relatively qualified to gain that particular knowledge. Like, example is the heart surgery, suppose. For heart surgery, patient has to be ready. At least patient should not have blood pressure and high sugar when there is high blood pressure, just because there is operation to take place. The fellow gets new disease. He cannot be operated. One fellow was running out in the street with wearing the dress to be given to the patient who is to be operated upon. One of the friend met him. He said, "You had to be operated today and you are dressed up as a patient. Why are you running out?" this fellow said, they said, "Don't worry, nothing will happen. The patient will be all right. He'll be all right." He said, "Who said? Doctor told you, don't worry, you should be relaxed." No, the nurses were telling to the doctor because he was doing first time. So I ran away. So this fellow, even if he goes back, he will have a blood pressure. He cannot be operated upon. So, to remove the ignorance, the mind has to be ready, just as the other parameters of the body should match for the main surgery. So also we have to ready the mind. If the operation theater may be there, doctor may be there, patient may be there, but then the heart, the body is not ready for it. Similarly, knowledge requires some secondary preparedness. Though teacher is available to teach, and the mumukshu is right here, one who wants moksha, one who wants to know, and still knowledge doesn't take place, or the opposite knowledge, not true to the object, like virochana, etc., takes place, then there is some third factor. What is the third factor? Preparedness of the mind is missing, technically called as adhikaritvam. Necessary attitudes, both necessary cognitive changes and necessary attitudinal changes at the level of antakaranam is necessary. Our simple example we give that to study medicine, at least preparedness of the mind, that you need a mind which loves biology. Not those girls, I remember I have one girl who decided to go for medicine, and the first day when the frog was brought out, she came back. "I don't want to become doctor." She was so frightened. Before the frog jumps, she jumped out. So it doesn't work that way. To study engineering, you require a mind which loves mathematics, analytic mind. So here also, though primary obstacle is ajnana, Moksha sadhana bhutam. Discriminative inquiry is a means. You have to separate one from the other. That is true. But to see the separation, to see the difference, to know what is Atma and Anatma, what is I and what I am not, I need to have some secondary preparedness. What is that secondary preparedness? Sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. That fourfold qualifications are necessary. People do not understand this. Therefore, they say teaching is an indirect means and realization is a direct means. Teaching is an intellectual knowledge, and meditate and realize there is a direct knowledge. You get indirect knowledge from teacher, and you have to convert that indirect into direct. As they say in Gujarati, Gnan pana saral hai, Gnan ko pachana bada mushkil hai. As though it is what, or adadiya or what, pachana mushkil hai. It doesn't need that way. They fail to see the fact that this is all because they overlook or they neglect this thing, adhikaritva. Unless one is qualified for study, knowledge will not take place. That is, or sometimes the opposite knowledge takes place. As I mentioned, the story of Indra and Virochana, Lord Brahmaji never meant Atma, body as Atma, but he understood that. And Indra also understood the same way, but he couldn't take it. He was a thinking person, and therefore he was thinking logically. He said, how can this body ajar amara? If body is Atma, what? The verbal meaning, appeared meaning is that body is Atma, which Virochana took it to be true and went away. Indra, being a thinking person, could not take it. So, Brahmaji asked him to do tapas. The story goes, he was made to do tapas for 32 years, then again told, again could not understand, again 32 years, again 32 years, and lastly 5 years. In all, he did tapas for 101 years. And then Brahmaji told him what was told for the first time, same thing. Then he could see through the meaning of that sentence that implies he was a prepared, ready person, ready for knowledge. So also here, some special preparedness is necessary for gaining the knowledge. Though the teacher is there, means of knowledge teaching is there, the taught vastu, gneya vastu, atma is always uplabdha, available, and the seeker who is a mumukshu wants to know the self, he or she is also available. Still, knowledge doesn't take place, or there is a misunderstanding, little partial understanding, like all other darshanas, or like Virochana, etc., taking to be opposite of it is, all because of lack of adhikari. Please understand one more thing, nobody is a Purna adhikari, completely qualified, except there's exceptional cases like Nachiketa and Shankaracharya, etc., those people, those Mahapurushas were exceptional qualified students. They needed just one or two sentences here or one teaching and they could see the truth there and there. We are not qualified in a full measure. Here, two things are there. The qualifications grow by two methods. One by Shraddha, for a teacher. Therefore, when the Shraddha is there, rest of the qualities can come. That is why Bhagavan says, Shraddhavan labhate. That is why in our tradition, so much of importance is given to Shraddha, Guru Vedanta Vakyadisu Vishwasa. So much is given because one is not fully, in a total measure, qualified student, and therefore, if the Shraddha is there, slowly and slowly, the person will develop the necessary qualifications in course of time. So, in a sense, the student will grow in terms of preparedness for this knowledge. Secondly, this is again my interpretation with reference to students like us. I was a student like you only. So, because when I look back to myself, I candidly accept that I didn't know even what are these qualifications. Most of us did. We didn't know that Shastra is a pramanam. We didn't know what is Vairagya, etc. And we may not have in that matra also what is required. Shamadama, etc. was missing, quite Titiksha, etc. But then, we are a peculiar cases, in a sense, some tremendous punya karma, good karmas are there, that there is a desire to know moksha. Even not moksha, if not, it's a curiosity. Just you listen to him and then continue listening and all that. So then in the beginning, you don't know what you are listening. At least I have that experience. I'd heard the whole Gita, first meeting of Swamiji. I don't know what I learned. That time I thought I have understood something. But I still have a question. What did I understand? Except Karma Yoga, that was big revelation. That without expectation, you do karma, and that was, it dealt with it. But then when he talked about the Pashyan Srudman Sushan Jigran Asnan Gatsan, etc., Naiva Kinchit Karomi, I had heard these words. I didn't understand, and I had talked. But still we continue. Some punya. That you have a teacher, and not only you have a teacher, you have a desire to continue. That means that is where Shraddha comes in. With Shraddha, keep continuing, one will grow in terms of qualifications. The growth will take place. As you keep listening, this Vedanta, as you keep exposing to Vedanta, slowly and slowly, one grows in one's own preparedness of the mind because of Shraddha and other things, Seva. That is also important. And then the vision becomes clearer and clearer. The vision, therefore, often you find, as people, Swami used to say also, they say we used to get compliment. Even I have got compliments like this. Swamiji, now you talk better. I know I talked the same thing last time. But then when I say you talk better, that means now I understand you better. I see you better. That is, the person has grown in terms of qualifications through Shraddha and Seva. When you grow in Seva, then vision becomes clear. As often Pujya Swamiji used to explain this growing phenomena. Of course, that I can give this example to this generation only. The teacher of generation next cannot give this example because nobody will understand. That Polaroid camera that used to be, camera where you take a picture and immediately the print comes out. The print, it was a very short time. Now this mobile jamana, nobody knows camera. Even they will not know the camera. So when the print comes out, it is all white. And slowly, slowly colors come and the shade come and expression finally comes and you see the whole picture. Similarly, slowly and slowly we grow in terms of our clarity. Slowly and slowly we grow in terms of our understanding or owning of the truth. It's slowly and slowly we find that Swami talks better every time. Swami talks good every time. So this is the adhikaritvam is necessary. When people say this Vedanta is pramanam, but you study and then meditate or do some seva and then realize they don't understand what is pramana. Any pramana, any means is an independent means. In other words, when I say, show you this pen, this is yellow, eyes are pramanam. Eyes alone can reveal this, nothing else. If I rub my ears, smell it, I'm not going to see it as yellow or know it as yellow. Similarly, when Vedanta is pramanam, no meditation, no seva, or no going here and there and etc. is going to reveal the self. What all these can do is prepare you. In other words, cleanse your mind further and further, and you grow in terms of your preparedness. Meditation may help the person in getting a quiet, little quiet and composed mind. Thereby he may see the things, etc. But then it is not that the meditation reveals the self. Okay? And then in other words, though he is going to talk about the qualifications in the next sentence only, but two-way, cognitive maturity and emotive maturity is necessary. In other words, to think logically and to be a disciplined person, to think properly, objectively. When I say properly means objectively. When I say logically means objectively. To see the life situations objectively, that is the cognitive, and then no looseness in our speech or gestures or whatever. I don't lose myself. It's a cognitive maturity. Together, analytical, objective thinking person. Meditation may make you quiet, but doesn't guarantee logical thinking, doesn't guarantee objective thinking, doesn't guarantee that alert thinking. And when I say emotive maturity, means maturity with reference to life experiences. Or in a modern way, in modern context, I can say maturity with reference to relationship. Whom that I have to relate. In that relationship, I relate with the other person as a mature person, means a grown-up person. No unconscious relating, no child within the childhood issues are there who overpowers me and then takes me over and I start relating that. No way. I am relating as a grown-up, mature person. That is emotional maturity, some degree of objectivity in relationship, some degree of spacing in terms of relationship, relating, some objectivity with reference to my life experiences. We keep brooding over the past, keep imagining about the future. No, that is a lack of objectivity. That kind of adhikari. So this is modern jargon. For them, this is revealed. Sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikarinam. For those who are endowed with this fourfold qualification. Sadhana chatushtaya. Fourfold means for knowledge. Means qualification. Necessary cognitive and emotive changes within that it will take me. For them, we shall reveal this methodology of discrimination for truth. That means, in other words, for them, I will reveal the truth about the self. Atma Satyam, Jagat Satyam, Brahma Satyam, the truth of the self, truth of the world, and truth of the Ishvara will be revealed by me. As I mentioned just now, that doesn't, when I say I am going to teach for qualified student, that doesn't mean that we should not study. There's another problem. There are two types of people. Some think I am very much qualified. I am ready for the knowledge. And knowledge doesn't take place because Swamiji doesn't know how to teach. There is another problem. This is all typical blame game. And then they think, I'm ready. And some think, no, 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 I am not ready. Too much of low self-image, too much of lack of self-confidence, too much of looking down upon oneself. No, no, Swamiji, I am not qualified. Like that, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, the last line, मैं तो पतित हूँ, आप तो पावन है. Or this bhajan, I remember that. I never used to like this. Anup Jalota's bhajan, मैली चादर ओढ़ के द्वार तिहारे कैसे आओ, मैं मूर्ख खल कामी तुमको, etc. All these verses. It is good to be humble, but then to make a judgment that I am good for nothing is also wrong. But I didn't like this bhajan even before studying Vedanta. Maili chadar odke, I mean, after studying Vedanta, of course, it came afterwards. But right the day when I heard, I didn't like it. I said, chadar maili hai, isliye to aapke paas aana. How can you shy away from a washerman? How can I bring my dirty linen to you? You have to go to him only to clean them. Why should you not? It is like saying, oh doctor, I am really, really bad. How can I come to you with a sick body? You have to come only with a sick body. That is why should you go to doctor? There is another problem of Indian physician, Our physician, family physician is really a family man. Generally, they have personal, though they invest when there's a family physician, it's just a physician. You don't go to him much and talk to him. But here, they are like a family member. They are invited for some functions and doctor invites and etc. etc. So usually such physicians, when the patient goes, they ask, how are you? I am seeing you after a long time. I don't want to see you at all. Why should you say that I'm seeing you after a long? बहुत दिन के बाद आया. अरे भाई बहुत दिन के बाद आना पड़ा, उसकी भी तकलीफ है. And to that doctor, he said, oh, I am so sorry that I have to come to you. You have to go there because there is a problem. So, though the teacher says it is for mumukshu adhikaris, and I may feel that I am not having those qualifications, it's okay. Fact that I have been brought to Vedanta, you understand the word brought, or fact that I have been pushed or driven to Vedanta by those unseen hands. And not only any Vedanta, the best teacher of Vedanta I have been brought to, that means I deserve to learn. Full stop. I may be, honestly, objectively, when you look at it, that I may not be qualified. It's okay. But fact that the Lord has put me over here, I continue with Shraddha and I continue with Seva so that I may grow in terms of my qualifications. And like that Polaroid film camera, the picture becomes clearer and clearer. Having said that, when he said sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikarinam moksha sadhana bhutam tattva viveka prakaram bhaksha. So the first word is sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari. That means qualified student. The question comes, what are those fourfold qualifications? That is the next session, and then each one is being explained in the further section. This book is in a dialogue form. The teacher makes a statement, and student raises a doubt, and the teacher answers, etc. Guru Shishya Samvada Rupena. It is in the form of teacher-student dialogue. The book is written. And so the question comes, what is sadhana chatushtaya sampatti? See the first line. Next one is sadhana chatushtayam kim. What is that fourfold qualification? And he gives a list and then explains it. We shall look into it in the next class. before we leave this meeting, I have one or two announcement. Don't worry. Keep your heart loose, okay? Don't fuss it. I'm going to take classes. I've planned my travel and the meeting such a way that at least this November I am safe. I will be with you. Class, the last Sunday, we will have some time for question answer, half an hour, 45 minutes, depending upon the question. And I request you to put the questions to in Nipa, because I don't get time to see all these WhatsApp daily. So you may put it in a group, and Nipa or Kruti will make a list and send me on Friday or Saturday, last day, so that we can answer one by one those questions. Okay. So we'll continue for next two classes in terms of teaching. Last class maybe half an hour. Wish you not happy New Year, studying New Year. May you study more and more from next year. And wish you, on your behalf, I pray, may God make me available to take classes. So far, no weakness, except the second one, which I crossed over with all zeal, taking a class from the airport. But so far, so good. Let us पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।